the corporate world are always trying to peek behind the curtain of the sports world and say, oh, like, what can we learn?
Being able to adapt to adversity, be able to adapt to a constantly changing situation. It's not just the 15 lads starting or the match day 23. It's the whole club really that gets you to the trophies at the end of the season.
Beyond the Performance, a podcast from BDO and Leinster Rugby, bringing high performance insights from the field into the boardroom. Hosted by Cian O'Sullivan, tax partner at BDO, this series kicks off with Andrew Porter, professional rugby player for Leinster Rugby and the National Ireland team, and three-state gym owner.
Andrew, it's great to have you with us.
Thank you very much. Geez, I'm first one in, so
yeah,
pressure's on.
Yes,
pressure's on or off. I'm not sure.
So looking here, you have a very long list of accomplishments: 3 Six Nations, Champions Cup, 2 Lions tours. But I think what's nearly more impressive is in the last couple of months, you've become a dad.
Yeah.
You've opened your first business and you've launched a book.
Yeah. Busy year.
You've been a really busy guy.
Yeah. In fairness, like I was chatting about this last week with my business partner who I run the gym with, and it was kind of like one of those things, like when you're in it, when you're going through the thick of everything and you've got a packed schedule and you haven't even got a minute to yourself, you're kind of like, when will this ever end? But now kind of looking back and you have a bit of perspective on it, it's very much, I was very grateful for everything that happened and in the way it did as well. Because like it was a challenge, but like seeing everything come to fruition now and seeing everything running well, like the business was running well, book went well, fatherhood is going great. I mean, like bar the sleepless nights. Yeah, exactly. So like it's like I said, it was an incredibly busy year, but incredibly fortunate and lucky that I was able to do all that.
A really interesting part of that is when you're involved in like high performance sport, it often takes a relentless focus and an almost selfish focus. So it can be very hard to switch into different modes. So how have you found, especially in those couple of months, have you found being able to pivot from the dressing room into dad mode or into business mode? Is that challenging, or do you find something that you're good at, or is there tips and tricks that you use to do that?
Yeah, definitely challenging, because obviously everything that I did last year I have never done before. So everything was new. Everything, like looking after a baby, all that was new. Like you're kind of, you get home with your baby, with my wife, and we were like, why would they let us leave the hospital with the baby? We don't know what we're on.
There's no manual instruction they give you to.
There was that, and then there was the launch in the gym. The hours and the days prior to that was fairly relentless in terms of planning and putting in a plan that we felt would succeed. And it was more the planning phase, which was, I suppose, the most the toughest mentally, because you're trying to troubleshoot and you're trying to mitigate every risk possible in the lead up to it. How do we make this a success? How do we get the best team in place to run it?
It requires a lot of focus. You can't just be half there.
Exactly. And like that's why I was so fortunate to have the business partners that I have. Josh, who I was in school with the whole way up, and Gareth Lamb, who's incredible business mind. I think he was ex vice president of Meta. So like I'm incredibly fortunate for the people, for the team I have, that I was able to gain so much knowledge and experience off, like in the whole process. Even though it was new, I was able to learn so much throughout the whole process. And that was juggling the book, juggling the baby, figuratively, not literally juggling the baby, but and then on top of my day job, which is a professional athlete, a rugby player, it was a great, I suppose, a distraction to have, because I could put all my focus into my training day when I was there, and then once I left, I could park that. I didn't have to bring it home with me. I could switch into dad mode, and then I could switch into business owner mode, and I could switch into book author mode.
And how would there have been mindfulness programs and stuff you would have done in the past to help you? A lot of people have this challenge, even in business, that they carry that with them then. When they leave the training pitch or they leave the office, they carry it with them and they find it very hard. They're there, but they're not present.
Yeah.
So is that something that you're just naturally good at, or would through sport stuff you would have worked on to be good at? And what kind of work would that have been?
Yeah, like it's definitely not something that came naturally. It's something that it was a constant learning process, because things that you're not expecting get thrown at you. Like a deal doesn't come through for the gym, or you have to rejig your schedule for in the course of writing the book, or like maybe not sleeping well at night.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of be very adaptable in the moment. And I find that's the biggest thing that I've learned as a professional athlete, is being able to be adaptable, because you have to be adaptable in game, because not everything's going to go to plan. You're obviously going to put a really good plan, game plan, tactics all in place. But things are never going to go the exact way you want them, or the exact way you plan for them. So I think it's being able to be adaptable and having that plan B, plan C, plan D. What could I do to get back to where I want to be in that short space of time, I suppose?
Yeah.
How can I kind of recalibrate and, I suppose, re-level myself, and not, I suppose, let whatever's happened kind of knock me off course. So like being adaptable, and I suppose being flexible as well. Because I suppose what I've learned now is when you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah. With
father duties, with everything else, you have to be able to kind of, I suppose, kind of like taper off a small bit, because like I could be up all night in the middle of the night, maybe, like, obviously happens to a lot of people, and have to go in and train really hard the next day, and it just doesn't work over a long period of time. Like you will get burned out if you're just trying to, like, if you're being burned from both ends, really. So it's about being smart, and I think that's what the coaches and the physios and the S&C lads are very good in Leinster at. Kind of, if you have an open line of communication with them, they'll be quite accommodating for you if they know if you're not recovered well enough because of external factors like that. So,
and you probably need that. It needs to be enforced both ways, doesn't it, really? Because, the tendency would be, like you said, to get up the next morning and go into the gym or into training hell for leather, when maybe when they have that awareness that you have a lot of stuff going on outside the pitch, that you need to taper or kind of cut your cloth a little bit.
Exactly.
To your training.
Yeah. It's like, and that's again comes back to being adaptable. It's being able to kind of take kind of an easy day, like no easy days with it, but it's been able to kind of be like, okay, I'm going to focus on these few things rather than focusing on everything in the whole day, and then being able to kind of like pick your days, kind of like, this is the day where I'm kind of just going to be more of a mental day, like more kind of a learning day rather than overly physically taxing. And then the next day I can kind of ramp that up when I'm a bit more recovered, I suppose.
And sport has obviously taught you that skill that you've been able to bring into business life and other aspects of your life. And like, to what extent do you think sport has helped you and been a good platform for you to kind of develop new skills and just that whole personal growth thing? So I'm sure 5 years ago you would have looked at the idea of launching a book, launching a business, all these extra things that you're doing, and all these skills that you've even gone on the late and talking about your book, and maybe thinking, there's no way I could do that. How important or influential do you think sport has been in helping you get comfortable being uncomfortable, and helping you grow and constantly just push yourself outside your comfort zone?
I think that's the biggest thing. It's being able to, like you said, it's being able to push yourself outside your comfort zone. Stuff like I was saying last year, stuff that I never thought I would ever do. Never thought I would write a book. Never, like, always wanted to have my own business and have, like, the gym is somewhere I'm incredibly passionate about. So I always wanted to do that, but I never had I suppose, the know-how. So like all that new stuff, all that learning was that kind of uncomfortable situation. But sport has taught me is, like, the biggest thing is what you put in, you get out, the work you put in, and I suppose the time you invest in yourself, it pays off on the other side. So it's what you put in, you definitely get out.
And do you think it teaches you a lot about yourself, things that you think you mightn't have been able to do? Like I think in business, oftentimes you come across people that they put a ceiling on themselves. They get to a point in their career and they say, well, this is what I can do and this is my skill set. And, if I'm asked to go give a presentation or speak to a boardroom or something, like, oh no, I can't do that. I'm not very good at that. But you can learn those new skills. You can grow, you can develop, you just pick it off bit by bit. Do you think sport has really like pulled that out of you? If you look back to when you started as a 20-year-old going into the Leinster dressing room versus now, do you see it's really brought you on a kind of growth journey?
Definitely. Like I think it is all a very like humbling experience because you think you have all the answers. You think you think that like you think you're good at everything. I think that's what I think. When, particularly as an athlete, you're kind of like, okay, no, I'm good at this. I can do. I've got that nailed down. But it takes a lot of practice and learning and experience. Yeah, exactly,
going for it.
Exactly, and actually doing it.
Yeah.
And I think the best way of actually learning is by actually doing.
You mightn't be good at it first off. And you might fall flat in your face, but the next time you do it, you'll do it a little bit better, and so on and so forth.
Exactly, and that's why it is incredibly humbling in the fact of, okay, this is something like I've always been. I think I'm decent enough at my job as a rugby player, but there's a lot of other things that I might have been neglecting in the background, and that was in the early parts of my career. I suppose not thinking about that kind of next step. You remember you're a rugby player for so long.
Yeah,
what's my next chapter going to be after this? And I always wanted to have that thing in place. But yeah, like it kind of all everything happened last year, 2025. But it was, I suppose the aspiration, like having that kind of, I suppose that dream of having my own business and particularly the gym. I always had that there. I always knew I wanted to do that, but it was always how do I get there? How do I do this? And thinking kind of a small bit naively, oh, look, that'd be easy. Yeah. That'd be easy. I've been to the gym before. I know what to put in there. I know. I know what makes a good gym, but there's so much more obviously to it in terms of obviously like being a business owner rather than just being a gym owner. Like you're running a business, not just a gym. So there's a lot of stuff that I learned from both my business partners in terms of kind of management, like even like P&L, like all like everything, like stuff that I would have never like learned in college because I did economics in UCD, and I wouldn't be able to tell you anything
it's
on
all
it now.
It's all academic, and the real world's very different.
Yeah, but like I think the best way of learning something and kind of getting to grips with new concepts is actually doing it. You can only learn so much, I suppose, about reading, like going on the internet and reading about it is, but the best experience is actually doing it. And I was incredibly lucky to be able to do that.
And I wanted to kind of pick your brain on the business and might jump into that. Like you said, there was always your plan, and there is this whole consideration of that life after rugby and that transition piece, which is the challenge for all professional sports people. And you're obviously very, very aware of that. Like, one, do you find it very hard, or did you find it hard? Because you've always really taken that step, but did you find it very hard to carve out that headspace to think about it and put plans in place and not just keep kicking the can down the road? And then secondly, like, why now? Like, what triggered, in the last couple of months, opening 3-State and getting it up off the ground? What was the big motivation to get it done at this stage in your life and career?
Yeah, like I suppose timing, like it was more to kind of like luck, I suppose, a small bit with timing. Like we'd been, I suppose, planning this for maybe 3 years. Yeah. Like we'd like myself and Josh.
Okay. Yeah.
We'd been like lucky at doing something for a while, but I think it was like things kind of just fell into place that it kind of happened now. And I suppose it's a good thing that it happened now, because if we opened it when we first kind of got together and be like, oh yeah, let's do this, we wouldn't have had all that experience in the lead up, and that incredible, like those incredible learnings, and the people we met, the networking we did, I suppose the help we had all along the way from meeting so many people, so many, like not even just gym owners, just business owners, like business heads that were giving us so much knowledge in just kind of sitting down having a chat for an hour. I think everything, like the timing, it seems a bit lucky now because like we were looking for a unit for ages.
Yeah.
Because like Dublin, there was no commercial property at all. And then it actually came about by one of Josh's personal training clients, knew someone who knew someone.
Okay.
And that's how we got our facility. That's how we got where we are down in Dunleary. So it was a small bit of luck involved, but
so you've been planning for quite some time.
And
so when the opportunity came for unit, you were how long after that lease opportunity came up to actually opening the doors was it?
Oh, like not that long. Like it seemed long at the time because we were just kind of like, okay, we just want to open now. But I'd say,
but you guys are ready to go, really.
Yeah, we had all the plans. We had all our suppliers
sourced and everything,
we had everything sourced, but it was just a matter of pulling the trigger. And like it was like the negotiations for the lease took the longest. Like anything, it's always one of those things that's out of your hands, and you just let the solicitors kind of deal with it. But yeah, there was a lot of, I'd say it was like maybe 3 or 4 months.
Okay, that was quick.
Yeah, quick. Like it felt long at the time because you're just kind of like chomping a bit, raring to go. But I think it was definitely a good thing that you don't want to take the first offer. You always want to have that bit of time to negotiate. That's like incredibly important, and it's incredibly important learning that I've had in career, like in my playing career, and also and also in business. I suppose you want to have a bit of time to kind of ruminate and kind of think, and not just go for the first thing just because out of excitement or probably inexperience. But yeah, it was definitely like it was a long build up to it, and like we were sitting down last week, and we were actually going to open up in Kiltiernan. We were going to open it originally, and it was like an old kind of country market building, like so dilapidated, so like it's on its last legs. And we were like, at the time, like 2 years ago, we were like, oh, we can make this work. Like we could definitely make this work, because we were just obviously so excited to get 3 State up and running. And now we were like, what were we thinking? Like even considering going for that? Like we would have had to put so much money in just to get it up to regulation, up to like fire standards, all that kind of all the fun stuff, before we could even like put kit in it.
It's a really important business lesson, even as well, like because having your homework done, doing your DD, and not rushing into decisions, and being fully informed, knowing all the warts and skeletons in the closet. I note from the bit of digging around the gym that there's a real strong sense of like community, and kind of culture of community and that kind of environment. Like how did you go from an empty, nice new unit with a load of gym equipment in it to generating that kind of environment and atmosphere? Because I think that was really interesting in a business context. Like people are always talking about culture, but like what the hell does it mean? And like so, what kind of intentional actions did you take to try and create that environment?
I suppose like I took a lot from playing. I took a lot from the dressing room, from being in a team, as like in a team sport. Like I think culture is a huge part of success, and a huge part of, I suppose, standards that you set for yourself and for the team. So I always loved being a part of a team, and I suppose that sense of belonging you have, and that sense of connection you have with a place, and it's a sense of place as well. Like it's like we call it 3 State because it's that you have like your first. It's kind of like social kind of construct of like your first place is your home, your second place your work, and your third state or your third place is like for a lot of people it's the gym.
Yeah.
Like, and it's amazing to see how, I suppose, organically that's come about. Like we can do so much, like in terms of like we wanted to make the Three State like a non kind of intimidating place that people, because there's so much, I suppose, barriers for entry, like kind of invisible barriers for entry for gyms that kind of put a lot of people off. And we wanted to have that place have Three State be a place where people love coming. They can't wait to get down and see other members, see their friends that they train with, and go for coffee or go for a sauna after. Like that's something definitely we intended and pushed out there, but it's our members that have really kind of cultivated that culture and that kind of sense of community. Like we have incredible members there that really drive that. And it's great to see, like we put the plan in place, but it's our members that are really driving that, and we don't really have to have much of an input. Like we put on like community days, like events like for our members as kind of like a thank you for being like great members. Like we did, we had like a Christmas party before, in the start of December, and like the amount of our members that showed up, like everyone's got incredibly busy lives, and it's great to see like people spending their time in Three State in the gym, and I suppose getting to know people that they would have probably never, I suppose, talked to or got to know anywhere outside of here, because everyone's incredibly busy, work, family, other commitments, and we just wanted to make that place people love coming to. They can't wait to, even if it's at like 6 a.m, the early sessions, or if you've had a hard day at work, you're coming after in the evening time. We wanted to make that place have a real pull factor for people, and it's that kind of sense of community that really, I think, is that pull factor for a lot of people, and it's the cornerstone to the gym, really.
And that there's obviously a massive parallel or crossover from your learnings in sport there, because that like connection piece is like so important.
Yeah.
And obviously everyone in the dressing room wants the team to succeed, and there's the goal to, whatever it is, be the best team or win whatever trophy it is. But you have players at different stages. You have someone that mightn't be starting, or, you know, is on the bench, not happy being on the bench, or injured, or whatever it is. Like how have you seen, you know, those great coaches and leaders that you've played with and under work on that connection piece? You know, is it something that just happens, or do they drive this home, and do they put on, you know, sessions or coaches to try and generate this and try and artificially create that connection?
Yeah, I think like there's two sides of it. Like I think the coaches can only do so much, but a lot of it is player driven. Like you need that buy-in from everyone, because it's not just the 15 lads starting or the match day 23. It's the whole club really that gets you to the trophies at the end of the season. Like it is like we're incredibly lucky in Leinster in particularly that we have like an incredibly large group like for training, and it's those guys, like you said, who might not be selected, who could feel like hard done by, but it's like it's week on week, and like every training session, those are the guys who are pitching up in training. Like they're the guys who are really like pushing the standards, and that's like you need the whole like a buy-in from everyone, not just the guys playing on a Saturday. You need a complete buy-in, and that's what I think the coaches are good at, I suppose, managing and overseeing it.
Yeah.
And I suppose like it's like a lot of the time in training, like if you're on a match day 15, it's the guys in the bibs who are winning the session basically. Like they have that chip on their shoulder as well. And I suppose you need that chip on their and that edge. to keep pushing standards. But yeah, I think it's more important though that it's player driven and it's coming from your teammate rather than, I suppose, the coach. Because if you have teammates and leaders within the team and driving these standards, it's I think it's a bit. It hits home a bit better. It hits home a bit more, and it shows people care. It's like if you get a bit of a telling off and training from one of your teammates, but it's not like in any way, I suppose, personal. It's the team first mentality, I suppose, and that's what we've got. We're incredibly lucky to have in Leinster. We have incredible leaders across the board.
Because it's not only the coach. It's not the coach's responsibility to be the leader for everyone.
Yeah.
It's at loads of different levels. So at those different levels, and you've got, if you have leadership teams and stuff like that, or you have guys that are emerging leaders and coming up through the squad, like, is there frameworks there to actually be clear about, what leadership is and who the leaders are and what their roles and responsibilities is in for the team? Or is it a little less kind of formal than that?
I suppose it's a little less formal, but we have Decky in the setup, and he sits down with the leaders in the leadership group, and I suppose they set the stall out for the week. They kind of see what we need to go after, and so there is a small bit of a framework to it, but then it's in the hands of the players, because at the end of the day, they're the ones playing on the weekend. They're the ones actually on the training field.
Yeah.
So I think it's incredibly important to, I suppose, have that guidance.
Yeah.
And I suppose that that bit of framework in there.
And a vision, I guess, as well.
Exactly. You need a roadmap. Exactly. You need that roadmap, and you need that, I suppose, that end goal.
Yeah.
And whether that's months down the line, weeks down the line, in a few days, in a space of a few days, you need that, I suppose, that kind of roadmap and that goal, that North Star that you're going towards, because you need, I suppose, that reason. You need that why.
You bring that back, wherever you are at the squad, any bit of feedback, or if you're not starting, or you always have something to bring it back towards.
Exactly.
It's always for this greater purpose.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a competitive environment.
Yeah.
So at a personal level, you want what's best for you.
Yeah.
But I guess if there's very clear vision and very strong leadership around the greater collective good, that's really important.
Yeah.
Because and it's kind of sounds obvious, doesn't it? But I'm sure there's lots of teams and lots of businesses and or companies are doing really well out there, and that vision, mightn't be very clear.
Yeah.
You've been involved with the Leinster team for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, your role has changed massively in that time. How have you found that? Obviously, the more senior you get in the squad, the more people look to you for guidance and mentorship. Have you embraced that? Have you found that challenging, or is that just kind of naturally happened? And
I suppose it's it's always there, and being part of a team, you're always looking to make the guy either side of you better. You're not just in it for you. You're not just in it how can I get better? There is a small bit of that. How can I get better to make the team better? But how can I share some knowledge that will help? An academy player coming in for the first time, kind of learn the ropes. Even guys who've been there, similar as myself, been there a few years. You always want to do your best for the team, and if that's sharing knowledge, I think that's something we're incredibly good at. We're good at we're sitting down, we're learning off each other, as well as learning from the coaches. That you get the direction from coaches, but I think the learnings and what you can take from other players is huge as well, because you all see the game differently. You all see everything in a different light, and I suppose it's when you get those ideas and put them together, that's when the magic happens. Really, that's when you feel there's incredible openness, and the communication and openness are huge in a team.
Yeah, and that's any team. And I think in the corporate world, you can probably be a little bit reluctant to have it's very easy to give good feedback, isn't it? But what people want is that constructive and that bad feedback, and even being able to deliver that in a way that's positive or constructive, or what's for the greater good, can be a challenge. But if you want to have a high performing environment, that accountability piece is really important, and that ability to, we used to say, if you see it, say it.
Yeah.
If there's something that's not right, don't keep it yourself.
Exactly.
Don't have a conversation over in the corner with somebody else and start, talking behind shoulders.
Yeah.
Be upfront and say it and speak your mind. And yes, no surprises you say that about the Leinster and Irish setups. Adversity is a huge part of sport and
part of life.
The sport, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think sport teaches you that gives you some hard lessons.
Yeah, definitely.
that you probably don't otherwise get in your day-to-day life and certainly in work. How have you, and I guess there's loads of great days, but unfortunately it's the kind of bad days that you tend to focus on.
Nature of sport, yeah.
What do you think that's taught you about yourself, dealing with that adversity and the injuries and the big losses, and how do you cope with those, and how do you think it has developed you as a player and as a person, I guess?
Yeah. That's there was a funny one. I was talking about this kind of to my wife the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just if I have a bad day at work, everyone sees it. But if someone has a bad day in the office, it's maybe their manager, maybe they know they've had a bad day. So it's funny, we were having a laugh about that the other day. But adversity, I think, is just a part of life. And I think it's just when, as an athlete, it's kind of adversity is magnified a small bit, because I suppose you're on that stage, you're on that, you're being seen by a nation internationally, you're seen on TV and everything like that. So there's that. There's the part of losing games and big games. There's that, which you can get, you can beat yourself up about it as much as you want after the fact for a few days, and I think I've allowed myself to do that, but then there's no point in sitting and dwelling on it for more than a few days, because doing that is not going to change what just happened. It's using that as firepower, I suppose, and using that as motivation to spur you on and
flip the narrative.
Exactly.
Don't you? Yeah.
Exactly. And using it as a learning experience. And you obviously don't want those to happen, but that's, I think,
but they're good things
the good things.
Yeah.
Obviously not at the time.
No.
But when you, I suppose when the time has passed, you have a bit of perspective on it. Yeah. You can focus on the things that went wrong, and then you can look to rectify those things.
Yeah.
And it's the same for anything. Same for business, same for any human experience you have that didn't go your way. Is how, and you have to look at it, and you have to be kind of mindful on it as well. You can't just be oh, that happened, no, it won't happen again. You actually have to be methodical in how you kind of I suppose strip it back. Yeah. And
it teaches you a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
That you don't get from anywhere else. And nobody's going to go through life without adversity.
Yeah.
Usually happens later in people's lives, but I think in sport it happens earlier, and as you said, on a very big stage.
Yeah.
So you really have to reflect. But I think there's great value and power nearly in being able to respond to it.
Yeah.
So when it happens again, or you face adversity again, you're yeah, it's crap now.
Yeah.
And I have my few days, as you said, of feeling sorry for myself and, giving out about everything. But I'm going to learn from this. I think being able to kind of look yourself in the mirror as well, what could I have done something different? Because the kind of go-to response is blame someone else.
Yeah.
You're going to have to step back and take a look at yourself and say, well, what could I have done differently?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's very easy to, in a team sport, to kind of be oh, it was I suppose it was everything else. But me, but
police escort that they sent us.
Yeah. It's come on, we were a few minutes late.
Yeah.
But I think it comes back to that adaptability piece. It's being able to adapt to adversity, be able to adapt to a constantly changing situation. Like obviously with a loss, things obviously haven't gone to plan. How do you make a new plan so that doesn't happen? So you can get better individually, get better as a team, like mentally, physically. How can you, I suppose, bolster your mindset as well as your physical capabilities as well.
You've spoken about that kind of adaptability and that flexibility piece, and like the corporate world are always trying to peek behind the curtain of the sports world and say, oh, like what can we learn? I think there's loads of like really obvious parallels, but then I think sometimes it's over-egged a little bit. Like I'm sure when you were opening the gym, you're like, everyone's saying that all these lessons I learned from sport are going to make business easy. There's loads of things you have to learn about business life as well. And you're kind of like, well, but there are like all those things about culture and being flexible, your mindset. But I think one thing that is really interesting from a business perspective is that whole like dealing with pressure and in the heat of battle, making the correct decisions. And, I've even seen from some of your games with the Irish team, you get in the huddle and the deep breaths and the kind of that reset. And we have, in sports, you have your technical, tactical, physical, you tick all those boxes in the gym and on the whiteboards and stuff. But then there's a psychological piece.
Yeah. Like
how important is that? And how much work do you do on that? Like deliberately focused work on that? Or does it kind of look after itself?
Like for me, that's something that I've built in over the course of my career. And that's something that you have to train completely because your mind is a muscle. And the thing about your mind is it's always on. It's like you're always with your thoughts. Like I'm on the training field in the gym or in training with the team for so long, but my mind is my mindset is with me every day, 24/7. Like it's something you constantly have to work on, and I suppose that's something I've learned, that it doesn't just happen. It is something you have to be very mindful of, and I suppose like it comes back to, I suppose, a bit of discipline and I suppose your habits as well.
You can't measure it, like
exactly.
Leo Cullen or Andy Farrell can't say how are you doing on your psychological aspect of your mindset of the game. Because
that's one of the biggest things. Because like it comes back to being in the moment of the game. Like if something happens in the game, how is your response to it? Do you just kind of get frustrated or keep doing the same thing and hope for a different outcome? Or do you kind of catch yourself in the moment and like flip that switch? And that's why we do that breath in the huddle. You push every moment that's just happened away and you're just focused there and then in that huddle. You're focused on that and then the next moment. And then the next moment. Keep going.
And rugby's so interesting from that perspective because there's so kind of many resets that you have that opportunity to take that pause. And actually reset, whereas like in other games like soccer and football and stuff, that the whistle's blown and you're kind of gone. You're gone.
So it's really there's no dead time.
There's no break. And there's so many strategic calls needed in rugby as well. So that's very, very interesting.
I think it's being able to have mental clarity as well. Like you can feel like you feel like you're doing so much. Oh, I'm really productive. But what was the quality of what you've done? And it's having that kind of mental clarity. It's having that clarity to be mindful. And I suppose what you're doing has a purpose. And I suppose another thing I've learned is like, if I'm thinking of the process more than the outcome, if I'm thinking about, I have to get up today, I have to go and do conditioning, and I have to conditioning is going to suck. It's really tough. I have to go to the gym. Gym's a bit like, I don't mind the gym. I like going to the gym, but this is going to be a really tough day. But if I look at what the outcome is, this is going to make me a better player. This is going to make me a fitter player. This is going to help my team. If I look at the outcome rather than, I suppose, all the little details in the process and kind of like, oh, this is going to suck right now, but I get rewarded for it by being a better player. I'm fitter, I'm stronger, I think you need that, like I said earlier, you need that end goal, and you need that, I suppose, that mental clarity to be like, if you're in the moment and things aren't going your way, it's like need an extra lung in a fitness session or something like on the pitch. I think about the end goal.
Yeah.
I think about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it.
And that's not, I'm sure that's not the belittle or reduce the process. Stick to the process.
Yeah.
No, like still really important. That's why you have to go through that process.
But I think it's like when you have that clear goal, the process and your process becomes so much clearer.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's a lot easier to have that consistency.
Yeah.
When you have that kind of that prize, that carrot at the end of the stick nearly. Yeah, your process, your consistency, your discipline. It's a lot easier to stay disciplined in what you're doing, and it doesn't have to be in sport and anything. It's a lot easier to stay disciplined. I prefer to say disciplined rather than motivated, because your discipline is kind of what you carry every day. Motivation peaks, and there's peaks and troughs in motivation. Like, you're going to wake up and it's going to be freezing cold outside. You're not going to want to go outside. But it's the discipline that
more your behaviors.
Exactly. It's your behaviors, your habits. And that's what a lot of that I brought from the sporting world into business. If I'm worried about, I've got so many calls, so many meetings, so many emails to answer today, I'm thinking about the success of the business. I'm thinking of what the product is for our members. I'm thinking about the kind of the service we're offering. I want that to be a success. So I'm more than happy to go through the stuff that I might not be too thrilled on doing, but I'm just like, I want it to succeed so much that I'm willing and disciplined enough to put the time in, put the effort in.
And obviously in the sporting world, you have so many great coaches surrounding you.
Yeah.
So you've got your nutritionist, you've got your S&C, Gary Keegan with the IRFU, you got, backs coach, forwards coach. There's such great support from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. You're told what to eat, when to eat, what to wear, where to go.
Spoon fed.
Yeah. And then when you step into the business world, it's like, on your own, mate.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah.
Like, do you think there is a lot more scope and room for coaching in the business
100%. 100%. Like I said, we're very regimented, spoon fed. We're given a schedule, so it's very easy. So you know where to be and when to be there. So it's like, that's my whole life I've had, like my professional career.
You go on camp and you don't even have to clean up your room.
You get your laundry done for you. You get the food put on for you. Like, it's incredibly easy. That's why, like, anytime I'm going into camp, my wife is always like, you can't wait to leave the house. And then when I get home, it's like, I'm still in that mode.
Still have those behaviors.
I was like, oh geez, my clothes are still there. It's like, you haven't put them in she's like, I'm not doing it for you. I'm not spoon feeding like they do in camp. But I think I remember I got 5 weeks off after coming back from Australia on the Lions tour. And in that 5 weeks, it was full of setting up the gym. Like, the gym was very close to launching at that stage. It was still kind of in the process of the book, launching the book. And then, obviously fatherhood as well. But I was on my own schedule. I didn't have someone telling me where to be. I didn't know when I'd be there. I had to take a hold of that and be accountable, because if I didn't do that, nothing, everything would just kind of be up in the air. It would be chaos. So it's like, that's something I've learned. And to be fair, I'm spoiled in the fact that we have schedules, and we have a person for everything, like a nutritionist, physios, S&Cs. We have great coaches for every area that you need in a sporting sense. But it's like my two business partners, Gareth and Josh. they were great coaches to me.
Yeah.
The team we have, the team of coaches that we have in Three State are incredible. Like they don't need much direction. They're very, very proactive in that. But I learned something from each of them, and I think that's the great thing about great coaches. You have they're all different in their own way, but they teach you something different. That's what I'm really grateful for the team we have of my two business partners, and also the team we have in Three State that help it run so smoothly. And that's what the coaches do in Leinster. They help the place run smoothly. Like everything's kind of in sync, and everyone's singing off the same hymn sheet. Really, yeah.
And is there anyone, when you kind of look back on things and reflect, is there any one key, or maybe a couple of mentors, maybe either fellow players or guys that might have been a bit ahead of you in the team, or coaches when you're starting out, that, it was a great phrase that, find a good mentor and be a good mentor.
Yeah.
If everyone does that, you'll have everyone covered. Is there anyone that sticks out for you?
Cian Healy was always a great mentor for me. I remember coming in and I looked up to him because I came in and he was obviously playing for Ireland. I always looked up to him before I was even in the setup. And then he was always a great mentor for younger lads and myself, take me under his wing and everything. I learned a lot from him. Not even just on the field, just
sure, yeah. Well,
a life mentor as well. Yeah. He's experienced so much, and I think it's being able to share that experience is incredibly valuable. You might think that your story and your experiences won't help other people, but in the process of writing the book last year, I found that's incredibly powerful, just by sharing your story, sharing your own experience, because you never know who it might help, who it might be helping, and that's what I think a lot of the guys in Leinster are very good at. They're very good at is that mentorship side of things, to help the younger lads come through, because everyone wants to see the whole team succeed. But I've had great mentors in the game. Like Stuart Lancaster was a great coach when he first came in. Obviously Leo was a great coach. Like Jacques, the current coaches now, great mentors in terms of different styles, how they see the game. Stuart Lancaster was great in the sense that he was very methodical, very tactical, but also great on, I suppose, pushing people out of their comfort zone as well, in terms of he wanted a team of leaders, I suppose. He wanted not just the one voice in the meeting to be the most experienced guys. Everyone has an opinion, everyone has a way of seeing things, and there's no wrong answer. That's what he really wanted to drive. Because when you're a young player coming in, you're kind of sitting there, you're like, oh, don't say anything. Don't say anything. Someone else's.
Bide my time.
Yeah, exactly. And he was great at, I suppose, bringing people out of their shell, and
that's a really interesting point, because you hear sometimes people saying, "Oh, well, the coach, that team runs itself."
Yeah,
but it doesn't, because you need that leader or that one person putting that in place, or encouraging people, or getting people to come out of their shells and to be the leaders within the squad.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think that almost dilutes the impact and the real strength of the coach or the manager or whoever it is.
Yeah. And I've only been in the business world for a few months now.
Yeah.
But I've heard from a lot of my friends and stuff who are in offices and stuff, they find it really hard, I suppose, to have that kind of constructive criticism talk with coworkers. Because obviously it's a different environment. Yeah. Obviously there's your teammates are your teammates on a team. You're in Leinster and Ireland, you're with your mates, so you can kind of say something to them and they would kind of be water off a duck's back. But I suppose it's that way of kind of bringing it into the corporate world, of having those leaders kind of below, I suppose, management level, and being able to kind of push standards, I suppose, have that kind of constructive criticism, I suppose, because like I said, I have a lot of friends there, and they find it very hard because they might send an email to someone and it might be taken the wrong way, or they might say something to someone. So yeah, there's like, I've learned from being in business world now that like obviously have to adapt my kind of my ways of leading, I suppose, and dealing with people, and obviously you're not just managing your team of coaches, you're managing the members as well. You're like so it's definitely like, it's been great to learn new communication skills as well.
They're very different environments.
Yeah.
Really, and that's why sometimes I think this whole sport and business parallel, there are definitely, there's really strong things you learn from sport and business and vice versa you can bring it, but they're chalk and cheese in lots of other respects as well.
Yeah.
So just because you're really good at sport doesn't mean you're going to be really good at business.
Exactly.
One last question there is I guess any young players coming through, or if you were to look back at a young Andrew Porter coming into the Leinster setup, is there any advice that you'd impart, or even planning for that? You seem to have done it very well. You've been an eye on opening a business for the last couple of years, planning for that transition piece. Is there something that you wished you'd done earlier, or?
Yeah, I suppose on the kind of life after rugby part and the kind of maybe personal life kind of section of that, like, I think I wish I met more people and done more kind of, I suppose, networking kind of outside of my comfort zone a bit more. Because I think just the experience you can get from other people is incredibly valuable, because like you can get so stuck and bedded down into what you're doing on a day-to-day and be completely 100% focused on this, and that's a good thing for some people to be like, okay, I need to focus on becoming a better player, and but I think having that kind of that eye on the future is incredibly important. And like, it's not to put pressure on people. It's not like, some people don't know what they want to do until like towards the end of the career. But I suppose it's having that kind of being mindful about it, and I suppose gaining that experience while you're playing is incredibly valuable. Because your career is only so long. You've got a lot longer life, a lot longer career after your playing days. So I think it's incredibly important to be mindful of that. And I suppose on kind of the playing side and kind of like mental skills, and like, I suppose it's definitely what you put in, you get out.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you're not going to wake up every day completely like very motivated, but I think it's your discipline and the way you carry yourself is incredibly important. And I suppose not being afraid to be yourself in that environment. You can come in as a young player and be quite intimidated by players with loads of experience, or like, I haven't earned the right, I suppose, to speak here. But like, I suppose you nearly get more respect by speaking up. Like, you can go quite in yourself and be like, oh, I should have said that in the meeting. Like, but I thought it's I suppose not being afraid to be yourself and not being afraid to share your opinion.
If you're in the room,
exactly, you're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And that's not just in team. You're in a job you got whatever job you got for a reason, because you're good at it. So I think you can put that into a lot of contexts. I suppose, that'd be kind of my two things.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things you could probably say, but that's like probably the two things I probably learned.
Well, that's really interesting, because I don't think that imposter syndrome ever kind of leaves you. You're always kind of like, geez, how did I get here?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's really important to be safe in that.
Exactly.
You've earned this, and this is, you're here for a reason.
Yeah. I suppose that having that kind of confidence and comfortability. You might not be maybe the most confident person that or like, you might be quite introverted.
Yeah.
Like, I'm quite introverted a lot of the time, but I suppose it comes back to that kind of pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. and for the betterment of yourself and those around you as well.
You got 3 quick fire questions here.
Lovely. These are the tough ones.
These
are always the toughest questions.
Do you have any favorite bit of sports memorabilia?
Of my own or in general?
Anything? Is there anything special that you've picked up along the journey that you're like, that's pretty cool?
That's a tough one. I feel like I always like to swap jerseys after games with like my opposite number and stuff, but that is a tough one. I remember I was asked this before, and I was like, geez, I need to get a better collection.
It could be your own jersey.
Yeah, like I mean, like I have my my first cap jersey that my dad got framed for me.
Oh, class.
From my first game against the USA.
Signed?
Have it signed by the whole team, yeah. And my first cap is in the picture frame as well. So like I suppose that's probably it. Yeah, exactly. And it's like it's actually down in my family house.
Oh
yeah. Because I wouldn't like to look at it, but I think my dad
They'd be
likes
devastated,
yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast. I listen to a lot of stupid stuff now.
Hey, you could say whatever.
Vaughn.
Okay.
I like the Andrew Huberman podcast.
Yeah. It's a lot on the high performance.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of like I don't really listen to any one podcast. I'll listen to certain topics I want to kind of learn a bit more about. And that changes on a daily basis.
Definitely, yeah. And then lastly, is it true you can squat 350 kilos? Or you have squat before
325.
325?
Yeah.
Wikipedia needs to be better, I think.
Sure, anyone can change Wikipedia.
Was it you? That's phenomenal. Okay, well, Andrew, thanks a million for coming into us.
Thanks very much.
That was really enjoyable because I sat here talking to you for hours. And I just want to wish you the very best for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Both on and off the pitch. And thanks again for coming in.
Oh, great to be here. Thank you.
Great.
Lovely.
I suppose, yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.